Right, welcome to a very good evening here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Fresh evening, fresh conversation, deep insight. That's exactly what we have for you here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you are new to the channel, if this is your first time here, then thank you very much for choosing us. This is your best place for football analysis on the field, off the field. Everything you get its best here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, if you are an investor, if you are somebody who likes to bet, then we have a crack team of 5 that sits down, does analysis, and give you the best in terms of the best betting codes for you to pick them up, take them into your Betway app, and give yourself a good chance at winning something on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. That's exactly what we give to you here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So let us get straight into it. Let's talk about it. If you've not picked up those codes, the codes are already in the description of the video below. Description of the video below. Pick up those codes, go in there, go and give yourself a chance. We need something here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Let's start the show by saying a big thank you to my man Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Enterprise. Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Enterprise. I've said it several times that for me, my biggest thing was when I needed help with my car after I had an accident and I had to call Yesumo. Yesumo is actually a spare part dealership shop for every car that you drive. Every car. Think of car and think of Yesumo. Think of car spare parts. Think of Yesumo. Think of your HRV, your CRV, your Honda, your Accord, your Range Rover, your Highlander, your 4x4s, your Lexus. Every car that you drive, Yesumo is the guy to go to. He gives you the best deals in Ghana. Nobody comes close to him. If you're in Accra, just go to Abossey-Okai Post Office. Abossey-Okai Post Office. Yesumo is located right there and he'll take care of you. But of course, if you are not in the city, you're outside of Accra, like me, what you have to do is call Yesumo on 059-313-8221. 059-313-8221. 059-313-8221. Of course, also, if you need anything jerseys, there's a whole specifically for playing football. I have one that used to play football on Thursdays on the Kote Unity Park. Of course, if you also have your boots, you need boots. If you want jerseys customized, of course, I have my guy for you. His name is Diego Jerseys. Diego can do a lot of deliveries for you wherever you are in the city. Diego will do the deliveries for you. Call Diego now. Quickly, if you are not in Kumasi, if you are not close to Atonsu, call him on 054-6279-512. 054-6279-512. Charlie, we have been talking about this news for a while now. And Chelsea have decided that they will do what they have to do. See, in the context of Chelsea squad building processing, what they had to do was to make sure that they fill up certain things. See, Chelsea had issues with their left-hand channel. Now, the left-hand channel, we know the story around Renato Vega. Vega is the kind of player that Chelsea brought in to come and be a hybrid left-back, left-centre-back. And essentially, when I talk about hybrid left-back, left-centre-back, it's somebody who can play a left centre-back as part of the back two in a back four when you need him. Also, this guy can play as a left-back when you need him. So when you need him to do the overlapping runs, when you need him to do the underlapping runs, when you need him to play specifically to Enzo Maresca's system, when he cuts inside, this is the guy that can do that job for you. But of course, when Chelsea brought in Renato Vega, Vega did mention to the team that, yes, he is happy to play there, but then in Portugal's World Cup team that's going to go in 2026, he feels that he will get a part to play in the team when he plays at left centre back, because that is the part of the Portuguese team where you get to play. Because at right centre back in the Portuguese national team, it is Manchester City's Ruben Dias that plays there. Usually at the left side of centre back, it's Gonzalo Inacio, and then they make some changes. So he believes strongly that if he plays at left centre back, he will get to play. So then, of course, he made it clear. Chelsea said, for Chelsea Football Club, and he wanted to go elsewhere because obviously at Chelsea's left centre back area there were a lot of options. I mean, Levi Kuol is essentially Chelsea's best left-sided centre back. There was Benoit Belachile, who had not been bad for a very long time. Also, this is a team where even Marco Correa, when he pushed him, can play in that area. So it wasn't a place where Chelsea felt that he had to play in there. So he had to go on loan to go to Juventus to go there to then play some football. He played there for the large part. Of course, the season has ended and Juve has shown that they don't have enough money. They don't have money to do the deal for Renato Vega. And then, of course, that has meant that Renato Vega will find a place where he go and play, because at Chelsea, really, he's not going to get that game time that he so wants. He's not going to be able to play consistently as he wants. So it has become some sort of a big deal for him at Chelsea. We've seen a lot of clubs come in the last few days. We've heard FC Bayern mentioned. The issue with Bayern is that Bayern's number one focus is with Luis Diaz. Bayern's number one focus is with Luis Diaz. So they are not really enthused about forcing the move for Renato Vega and going to go and negotiate, and that is going to take their focus off the Luis Diaz conversation. For them, it's really about sitting back, understanding what the Luis Diaz negotiation comes to it, going in there and then doing a deal for Luis Diaz. That is the most important thing for FC Bayern Munich, and that's why they are going in there to go and do the deal for him. And that's why Bayern are trying so hard to make sure that they finalize the deal for Luis Diaz. So it means that the Renato Vega conversation was always going to go to the backstage. Now we've heard that Atletico de Madrid have said that they want Renato Vega, they want Vega in their team, and they've asked questions, the modalities of the deal and how they can do the deal for Renato Vega. Of course, it's very, very clear. Don't be surprised if very soon you hear that Chelsea are doing a deal for Renato Vega. But the bigger problem is the fact that as it stands now, Chelsea now want to make sure that they are moving away from Renato Vega. They need to bring in somebody else in there. After all, the biggest places, like I said last season, was Chelsea's left-hand channel. Because even in the wing area, there was Jadon Sancho, there was Mihailo Modric, who all of them were not there. In fact, there were certain parts of the season not even Noni Madueke available at the left-hand side in the attack. So obviously Chelsea knew that, okay, they needed to add some quality to make sure in terms of the left-hand side, the kind of players that play there, the depth that they have over there and stuff like that. They needed to make sure that those things are done very, very well, and they will bring in a lot of quality players to come in and come and get a job, because really it was not happening for them. It was not happening in terms of who will come and play, how things will go on in that area, the players that will come to Chelsea Football Club and come and play. It was not happening, and they needed really to make sure that at the end of the day, these players come in and then they come and get a job done for them. So that is why Chelsea went onto the market, and then they first of all went in to go and buy Jamie Bino-Gittens. Now, why did Chelsea buy Jamie Bino-Gittens? They bought Jamie Bino-Gittens because Jamie essentially is the kind of player that Chelsea would need in the left-hand area. Mihailo Modric is not there. Jadon Sancho is gone. You cannot keep him. So you need players in the left-hand channel. They went in there. They got Jamie Gittens because Jamie Gittens now becomes the 1v1 wide creator for Chelsea. Wide area. You want 1v1. Jamie Gittens gives you. The advantage Jamie gives to Chelsea, aside of some of the other Chelsea wingers, that this is a much more direct 1v1 creator, a much more direct player, more athletic, more blistering, and once he cuts in, he tries to shoot at goal. It's the same on the other side when you look at someone like Joao Pedro Neto also for you. Now, in that left-hand side area, what Chelsea wanted to do was that they wanted also to get somebody who was going to be the house space occupier in that house space. So that's why I kept on telling a lot of people that Joao Pedro essentially is not an out-and-out striker in the Chelsea squad building process. Yes, he has been profiled as a striker. Watford, Brighton, and Hove Albion when they had issues with Evan Ferguson. But then really, he is not an out-and-out striker. Chelsea see him as somebody that they can play together with a striker. So Chelsea can play Liam Delap and can also have Joao Pedro in the team. And of course, it means that Joao Pedro will be the house-based player. It also means that in a day where they don't want to play Gittens or whoever as part of the left wing area, they can keep the width with Joao Hato or whoever they want to bring in the wide area, and then come and push Joao Pedro in the house. So it's well calculated, well targeted. Well planned, detailed, analyzed plan of the squad building process of where Chelsea were last season and where they want to go this season and how they can build it even better and then grow as a team. And that's why Chelsea, you've been hearing the last few hours, Chelsea have contacted Ajax Amsterdam for their young centre-back, Joao Hato. See, it wasn't just conversation with Joao Hato, because it's clear. Joao Hato wants to join Chelsea. He has told Chelsea and Torajano from a now, said he, Joao Hato, of Chelsea, he is open to the idea of going to play for Chelsea. You see, the good thing is that Joao Hato is just 19 years of age. But although he's 19 years of age, he has 100 plus appearances under his belt at Ajax Amsterdam. So this is not a player who doesn't have experience. He's 19 years but has experience. You don't have to be old enough to have experience. He is young, but he has a lot of games under his belt. And Joao Hato adds that quality to Chelsea Football Club when it comes in. He's a player that, once he walks into the team, adds a lot of experience. Now, per the profile, this is a player that can play on the left-hand channel. A player that can play at left sided centre back when you need him. A player that can play at left back, the conventional left back of overlapping, underlapping, inside, outside, coming in. I mean, turning around possession and all of those things. No, Jawato will be able to give you that. Again, at age 19, Jawato had captain Ajax Amsterdam. So, in terms of personality, there is somebody that comes in and gives you all of that. For me, one of the things I've said several times is the athletic nature of Jawato. Now, a lot of fullbacks these days are not athletic. Athletic in the sense of, think of Josko Guardiola for Manchester City. I mean, the kind of centre backs that comes into the team and is super athletic. Somebody that wins duels for you. Somebody that does the job for you 1v1. When you leave a winger to him 1v1, he holds his own. He wins duels. He prevents. Someone like let's say he's coming against a certain Lamine Yamal on the right hand side. He deals with him and deals with him well. He's playing against someone like how Marco Correa will play the left hand side area. It is super important with athleticism that you need in that area. And that's why Chelsea know that Hato is the guy. In fact, Chelsea and Ajax Amsterdam have a very, very good relationship. So club to club negotiations will not be a problem. Chelsea have dealt with Ajax Amsterdam with Hakim Ziyech. They have dealt with them in recent times. They went to ask of Mohamed Kudus at some point in time before Kudus went to West Ham United. That move did not materialize, but they are very confident that Hato is a top player. In fact, there are a lot of scouts that have had conversations about when it comes to Joao, and they say that Hato is one of the top 3 left-sided centre-back talents under 20 years. One of the best players, athletic, good head over his shoulder. Arsenal and the likes wanted him, understands it. When last season Arsenal went to buy Riccardo Calafiori from Bologna in the Italian Serie A, definitely Chelsea's own Riccardo Calafiori, younger, however, more fit, and also with a lot of experience, a lot of game time under his belt, is the man called Hato, and that's why Chelsea are trying very, very hard to try and do a deal for him. In fact, the deal is well advanced. He has agreed personal terms with Chelsea Football Club, and now they are moving on to Ajax Amsterdam. We are expecting that the asking price should be between the fee of 60 million euros thereabout. That will come down somewhere around 52 million pounds. But Chelsea will have a negotiation, and they are hoping that they can beat it down to somewhere around 42 million euros for themselves. Something that's going to be a fair amount for Chelsea Football Club. And like I said, because they have a good relationship with Ajax Amsterdam, that really should not be a problem for Chelsea Football Club to be able to navigate and negotiate the deal for my man Jawato from Ajax Amsterdam. So if you're a Chelsea fan, the issues of the left-handed channel has been solved. Marco Correa gets a worthy backup in Jawato. Then they can also have the 2 players in the up top in terms of the attack who can also go on. That means that Chelsea will be preparing Ishmael Samuels at Strasbourg to come back in there and come and get a job done for them. Something that is seen to be super, super, super important. But it's not only Jawato. When Jawato, Chelsea have also gone onto the market and they've realized that, or Chelsea team as a whole, almost every position, there are 2-3 players. But there is one position that's not there. But even if you look at it from the perspective of roles and not just positioning, you realize that that is the point where Chelsea falls short in it. Now, when you discuss squad building, look beyond the starting 11. Don't look at the starting 11 alone. Don't look at, okay, starting 11 on this is the starting 11 into Weibo, anyway, anyway, no, that is not really what goes into the squad building process. In the squad building process, what goes into it is, okay, this player can get injured. Okay, there can be accumulated fatigue. Okay, there can be a drop of form. Okay, this player can get injured. All of these things, sporting directors look at it and they say, okay, I need this backup. I need one more player with this quality. I need one more player with this profile who can come into the team and play on the level of player X or player B when that player is not. And that's why Chelsea today, if you go to Germany, there is a town that I struggle to mention. So apparently it's in the southeast area of Germany where your man RB Leipzig are having their preseason training, and there is Xavi Simons. I guess one now saying it. When you think of Xavi Simons, think of Isco Alacron. Think of Isco at his best at Real Madrid. Think of the kind of player who becomes the creative outlet for the team. Now, Chelsea's number 1 creative outlet essentially is Cole Palmer. And we saw last season where large parts where Cole Palmer's, his form had dropped. and you will not see Cole Palmer essentially. There were large times where Cole Palmer will not be at his best essentially, and of course that affected the team. Now Chelsea feel like buying Xavi Simons solved 3 or 4 problems. Now I said that I would have loved Morgan Rogers to become the next player in the Chelsea that Chelsea will buy, because why? Morgan Rogers is a much more versatile player. He adds that physicality to the team, experience in the Prem, right? Which I agree with him. But look, this is where the Chelsea sporting directors and Chelsea analysts are coming from. They are saying that when you look up Xavi Simons, he can be the creative outlet, like how Chelsea wanted to buy Mohamed Kudus. Now, Kudus could have played on the right side. Now, Xavi Simons essentially can play also on the left. Now, when Xavi Simons comes in, he becomes the creative outlet of the team centrally in the absence of Cole Palmer. Now, when you look at almost every area, Chelsea have center forwards 2-3. They have right wingers 2-3, left wingers 2-3, left back. They get Jawato becomes 2, center back same. But Cole Palmer doesn't really have somebody who is like for him. I've seen people advance the argument of how Enzo Fernandez sometimes can play as a 10 and whatnot. But really, Enzo Fernandez is not a number 10. He's essentially a connector, an 8, or at best, even a deep line playmaker, a 6 in a double pivot. When he's more ball-sided, when he recycles play better, and he plays forward, it's something that he does very well. So, how about bringing in somebody that one can become the backup to Cole Palmer? Now, it's not as if it's automatic. There are certain games where you can play them together. So, the fact that you can play them together doesn't make it worry. Now, away from that, when Chelsea say are playing a very aggressive pressing team like Bournemouth for one of the things that Chelsea will need is what I call the needle-picking, ball-carrying midfielder. Now, these guys essentially, if you are playing in a mid-block, you have problems against them. If you are playing in a high press, you have problems against them. Now, why do I say this? These are natural ball carriers. They can carry the ball from deep and then bring the ball forward, even when you are pressing them. When you press them, they are press resistant. And for Xavi Simons, it's more about the low center of gravity. It's more about the dribbling ability and the technical strengths that he has. But when he carries the ball from deep and gets into the final third of the attack, this same Xavi Simons guy is the kind of guy that can receive the ball in the half space. He can receive the ball on the half turn. Empty. Tight spaces, the pockets, those areas. Xavi Simons, but he also has the creative impetus in him. Now, Morgan Rogers can do that. Morgan Rogers can pick up the ball from deep. Morgan Rogers can progress the ball. Morgan Rogers can turn over possession and can be very physical. But Xavi Simons adds that extra tight space controller that you need in him for him to play the final ball as a creative player, for him to be able to dink a ball into the path of the center forward, for him to open wide a deep block team. So, when you're playing against a high press, he becomes the ball carrying player to the press. When you're playing against a mid block, he becomes the ball carrying player. When you're playing against a low block that defends their box very well, then you don't need too many wingers. You don't need too many defenders. You can decide that you have just 2 center backs in the team. You bring in 1 winger, let's say Jimmy Gittins, who will keep the width. Then you have, in this case, Xavi Simons, who's going to be in the left half space. Then you also have, let's say, Cole Palmer in the right half, in the central half space as a proper 10. And you have Enzo Fernandez in the right half space in that area. Then you also have a winger. So let's say Esteban Will and Joao Pedro. So you have Joao Pedro, Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, Xavi Simons. That makes it 4. And then you add your man, which is Jimmy Gittins. Then you have a proper box striker. And that's why Chelsea bought the box striker in Liam Delap. For that, Liam Delap essentially can be in the box, fox in the box. When the ball falls to him, he will score. It can also be Joao Pedro. So it's more like building a team against almost every style of play. When you're playing against a low block, you have this profile to bring them down. When you're playing against a high press, you have now press resistant single 6 in Romeo Lavia, who can play from the back. You also have a ball carrying, 8 in Xavi Simons, who can carry the ball and then take it forward and then break down attacks for you. Again, when you also have the low block team, you have Xavi Simons who's going to be in the half space. So you essentially have like 3 number 10s operating central in that central zones, 1 on the left, 1 proper center, and then 1 on the right hand side. Then you keep the weight also. So your wingers are pulling their fullbacks 1v1. Then whilst because usually when you play against teams that defend low block, what they do is that they double up on your wingers. Now, so whilst they are doubling up on your wingers, it means that it is space for your half space occupiers to run in between them. So this is your winger, right? This player here, my thumb is your winger. Now, this is the outside center back. This is let's say the DM number 6 that's come in, protect him 2v1 with your winger. Now, what you do is that once they have come together, usually they are in a much more diagonal way. Once they have come together, the number 10 or the half space player, let's say in this case, Xavi Simons on the left half space, that's what they call the underlapping run. He underlaps in this area. He runs in between them. Then what Gittins has to do is that, one, he can either use Xavi Simons as a decoy. So once Xavi Simons makes that run, the attention will turn to him. He comes in and shoots, or curls into the far post, puts a cross into the path of Liam Delap. Or what he'll do is that once Xavi Simons moves into that part, he plays the ball into the path of Xavi Simons. Simons cuts back. You are in the box. You have space. You've created space. Your striker is there. He's occupying people. You have the goal. So it's much more technical, tactical, well thought through squad building from Chelsea, bringing in Xavi Simons. Like I said, because of physicality, I mean, I love physicality. I've said several times that the technical style sometimes we overhype it because it's nice to talk about, it's nice to watch in terms of the flair and stuff like that. But really, games are won with what you do with the physical presence of your team, what you do without the ball. But the good thing with Xavi Simons is that whilst technically he's so gifted, I think that because of what happened to Xavi, because of how he was hailed when he was young, he was essentially supposed to be the next Lionel Messi. People really hailed him. They gave him a lot of accolades, and really he didn't live up to the bidding because of the decision making of going to Paris Saint-Germain and the likes. Now he has been more careful. He works very hard without the ball. So, I mean, yes, he may not be the most physical player, but intensity-wise. That's why I said that when you look at Xavi Simons and you're even comparing him to, say, an Isco Alacron, look at him in the context of Isco Alacron, but with more intensity, with more pace. Isco Alacron will thrive in much more settled play, calm, slow, collected. But Xavi Simons has the pace, has the directness, has the intensity to hit opponents as well. And again, another very important thing with Xavi Simons and why Chelsea are so big. They just love Xavi Simons and they want to do everything possible to get Xavi Simons the fact that this is a boy that gives you excellent ball striking ability. I remember I watched Netherlands versus England in the Euros, the last ended Euros, and he scored that first goal. It was an excellent ball striking ability where he was even falling down, and of course, proper ball striking, into the back of the net. Xavi Simons was right there delivering the goal to the Chelsea folk and the Netherlands folk, and he gave them that excellently. So he gives you that creative outlet. He gives you that very, very good ability in terms of breaking down low blocks when you play against mid blocks, when you play against pressing teams, and also he gives you that ability to play when you play against teams that make it difficult for you, and also gives you that ball striking ability and adds goals and assists to you. So that is super stuff from Xavi Simons. I mean, the kind of player that fits into the squad building process, that fits in terms of profile wise, and it comes in. My worry is just, I mean, I've told you people not to worry about price, but here am I worrying about price as well. But again, my worry really is about the prize money of Xavi Simons, and if it's really not going to be the main guy, 70 million is a little bit too much. But the conversation is in and around Ali Barat. If I think that Chelsea will promise Ali Barat some commissions if he's able to bring the price down from RB Leipzig. And also the fact that RB Leipzig wants Kani Chukwuemeka is a good advantage to Chelsea Football Club, and they will be able to do the job for him. So, I mean, if you're a Chelsea fan, it's exciting times. I think once Chelsea are done with Jawato and then Xavi Simons, they'll quickly just focus on the outgoings. I don't know when Xavi Simons will be a Chelsea player, but like I said, Xavi Simons will be a Chelsea player. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I think in the next day or two, most likely we are going to see the end of the Xavi Simons saga, and it's going to be a new Chelsea player. What is going to go on is that Chelsea will focus on now the outgoings a lot. The teams that the players that have to let go, the Renato Vegas, the Joao Felixes, who Benfica wants for just 50% of his image rights and all of those things. And they will try to make sure that those things are done. Then they can focus on other things, something that is very, very important to the Chelsea Football Club, so that they can get things done. We'll see how things are going to pan out from there. We'll see how Chelsea will be able to fix their stuff and make sure that at the end of the day, they get some very, very good stuff into their pockets and compete. How and where will Chelsea finish next season with all of these investment that they are doing? So if you look at all of the players that Chelsea have bought, these are not players that are not experienced. These are top experienced players. They have a lot of game time under their belt for Chelsea Football Club. In the next few hours, maybe one or two, Manchester United's former player, Marcus Rashford, is going to be unveiled as the next Barcelona player. I have pictures for you. I have images for you. Charlie, what a night for Marcus Rashford. Redemption starts tonight for him. What is revealed, which is unveiled as the next FC Barcelona, left winger. He is important. I said it. On a good day, Marcus Rashford is a monster. You should be careful of him. He is a kind of player that brings that finishing ability in the box. He's the kind of player that turns things around for you. He's the kind of player that makes things tick for you. Also, when you turn the possession over, you want somebody to run the channels. You want somebody to do that hold up play in those left half space, right half space. If you want somebody to run those channels for you, the name of the guy is Marcus Rashford, and Barcelona are going to get such an important player, and he's going to come in and then get a job. He just, but I see, when I see Marcus Rashford, he strikes me as somebody who is in a very, very good mental state. He strikes me as somebody who has put the not so good times behind him. Again, see, when you look at Barcelona and you look at Marcus Rashford, last season at AS Amsterdam, like I said yesterday, he scored 11 goals. You cannot tell me that this guy is not a good enough player. You just can't tell me that Marcus Rashford is not good enough. Definitely, Marcus Rashford is a kind of player that gives you some level of successes, that plays well, that really makes sure that at the end of the day, he gets goals for you, that creates some, balls for you, that makes it very, very good for you to deal with him. That is the kind of player that Marcus Rashford is on the transfer market. And definitely Barca are getting a very, very good player in Marcus Rashford. What are some of the transfer news that's going on from other clubs? Of course, Hugo Ekitike has done the first part of his medical at Liverpool. Charlie, Hugo Ekitike, next season, Charlie, Liverpool there. All of the players are there together with Victor Gyökeres on the part of Arsenal. They are saying that Arsenal should make sure that next season they win the Champions League or the English Premier League. If they don't win the English Premier League or the Champions League, then there's going to be a lot of trouble for Arsenal Football Club. There's going to be serious trouble for Arsenal Football Club. They need to try and make sure that they win the Champions League or they win the English Premier League. But can they win it? Today they played in a friendly match with Ethan and Waneri and some of those new boys that Mikel Arteta has brought in. Noni Madueke will join the team a little later. But then again, Arsenal have the players that they need to go in there and to go and get a job done and play some very, very, very good football over there for himself, Mikel Arteta, and all of the other players in the Arsenal team. We'll see how Arsenal will fare from they played against Max Allegri's AC Milan. There is a possibility that Chelsea can get Mike Mignon. Hopefully, Gianluigi Donnarumma, maybe, keep your fingers crossed. Maybe Paris Saint-Germain may let Gianluigi Donnarumma go. Paris Saint-Germain, they can let Gianluigi Donnarumma go. If they do, Gianluigi will go back to his hometown. He will go to Milan and go and be the goalkeeper for AC Milan under Massimiliano Allegri. Now, of course, everybody knows this, that Luis Enrique, his number one choice as goalkeeper, isn't Gianluigi Donnarumma. He's not really a big fan of Gianluigi Donnarumma. The ball playing ability really isn't the best. So one of the things that he wants to do is to bring in a goalkeeper that's a natural ball player, natural on the ball, that can play from the back. But again, they would have to make sure that that goalkeeper who gives them that ball playing ability also can give them the shot stopping ability of Gianluigi Donnarumma. Once this happens, Chelsea may go to AC Milan and say, Charlie, you've gotten a goalkeeper in Gianluigi Donnarumma. Then if that's the case, then give us Mike Maignan. And Mike Maignan may go to Chelsea. Charlie, I don't know where all of these play teams that Chelsea are building and putting together puts them at. I don't know where it puts them. I don't know where it puts Chelsea Football Club as a club. I don't know how successful it's going to make Chelsea Football Club. But it is clear that Chelsea, once they are getting these things together, they have a team that's going to be forming that one. Like I said yesterday, the English Premier League will come down to managers. Yeah, managers will decide the English Premier League next season, not the players. How you use the team. Because Arsenal has a team. Liverpool has a strong team. Manchester City have a very strong team. Chelsea are not pushovers, but it's about how you use a team. No pressure on Chelsea. We have said several times that it's a team that you can go on to go and deliver, but still, no pressure. We'll see how Chelsea does things on the transfer markets, how they play their football, how things go on. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. You're getting here. We'll see you, God willing, tomorrow morning. Until then, take care.